Right, hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm here in a familiar place. This is one of the camping huts that I use, especially during the winter when it's a bit nippy. The plan today is I'm going to compare the end-fed antenna on 40 meters with the Tarheel on the roof of the Land Rover with radials on. So I've got both antennas set up. Let's just go in here where it's a bit less windy. The plan is to play a bit of radio, cook a lamb shamsuka, cook a lamb dish tonight and just chill out in this lovely shepherd's hut. This is a work in progress. So I've got the ham radio box, all my bits in, all the different leads and whatnot. Tonight I'm going to be running the ICOM IC705. I'm hoping, I've not planned this very well, but I'm hoping to run the laptop and run Whisper on 40 meters. The plan is to run half an hour on one antenna, see what I can pick up and see what others can pick up from me, get some signal reports through Whisper, and then switch over onto the other antenna and run 30 minutes. If I can run them both back to back, then it's as close as I can get to doing a test on the antenna. I'm going to put the kettle on and then I'll finish off the radios and all the bits and bobs and tidy up after I've had a brew. So see you in a minute. The conditions are much better than they were the other day. Let me just definitely I think on the last video all the bands were completely flat because there was a magnetic storm or rapture or something that happened and it completely wiped out the radio. It's all back. There's a contest on. Yay, there's a contest on which I'm not going to get involved in, and that's why I'm hoping I can get onto digital and do some stuff. Right. The end-fed that I'm using today is another one of Chris from radiostuff.com. He gifted me a few of the prototypes of these end-fed antennas. I think they're a great bit of kit, to be honest. The way that the construction and the ease in which it is to set these things up, it's just a nicely printed case for it as well. But this is the original one that he gave me last year that I've made numerous contacts on. The one that I broke the wire a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to order some new wire for that, but I might get some D10 wire. So I might go and see if Callum's got some DX Commander. He has some decent wire that I've had in the past, quite strong. But that combined with this antenna should be absolutely fine. So I've just got this pegged out like this, and then I've got the Tarheel on top of the vehicle with 4 radials coming off at 45 degrees to each other, and I've got animals that keep coming up and saying hello, cats and cockerels and all sorts. Because I've got the radials coming off the top of the vehicle and then dropping to the ground, would it be better to have these cut to the band that I'm going to be working on and have them elevated, because they're half elevated anyway? But that just, from a practical point of view, it's impractical, because I'd have to then stake out things to hang them onto. But the fact that they're half elevated and half not, would that have any will that have any effect on the transmission I don't know, answers on the postcard. I must admit it's one of my favourite places to camp here and play radio. It's got all my animal friends. We've got Steve, we've got Ken, we've got Bossman, Matilda, Dave, the whole lot of them, all very friendly. One of the first things I can do to check the antennas against each other is just a visual check on the waterfall, so we'll do that first. So this is the Tarheel. This is the Tarheel, so right, Tarheel. And then this is the end-fed. There's more signal, there's more noise coming through, so this guy's on 5.9, and then would you say that's about 1 S point lower on the Tarheel? So receiving less. I guess we'll test that more hopefully when we get the Whisper up and running. I'm trying to charge this laptop. I've not used it for ages, and that means that I've not synced the clock up for quite a while, and we just changed to BST as well. So I think clock, if the laptop works, clock will also be an important part. So what I might have to do is connect it to my phone. My phone's on 4G, and then I use Dimension 4, which is a piece of software on the Windows computer that then gets a beacon, a timing beacon from one of the research places that does all the timing things. Yeah, you know what I mean. So hopefully I'll get that clock sorted on the laptop, and then we can start doing some Whisper. What we can also do while we're waiting is check the SWR. So this is the SWR on the Tarheel on the vehicle. That's quite nice. And then next we'll do the end-fed. This is now the end-fed. Actually, although it is okay, I might get the analyzer on the end-fed, because when I first put the wire onto this, I was a bit lazy and I didn't really trim it right down to be absolutely spot on. So I'm going to stick the analyzer on while the contest is on. Yeah, so it is actually, so that means that the antenna is a bit on the short side. Blech. I was hoping that it was going to be too long, because if it was too long, then the resonant point would be lower down the frequencies. I can just trim and bring that resonant point up to where I need it to be. But because the resonant point is higher up the frequencies, that means the antenna is shorter than it should be, and it's probably about a meter, half a meter, something like that, too short. So I definitely do need to get some new wire. So in some ways it makes tonight's experiment not as scientific as I anticipated. Science. to continue this masterclass in antenna engineering. I'm going to try something out. I've got, it's not enough to completely replace the wire on the end fed, but can we trick the antenna into thinking it's longer than it is by cutting maybe 1.5 meters of this and taping it so that there's an overlap between the wires on there and this one, and let it run off and see if somehow it thinks that it's connected when it's not. I mean, I won't know until I try it. I'm going to, if I just chop a bit off, and we'll see if this brings the resonant point down a bit by cheating. It's actually only bloody gone and done it. Look at that. That's almost like, it's almost like perfect. See, who needs people that know what they're doing in the hobby? Just check this out. So I've just taped that and I've attached it to the plastic peg which is into the ground, and it's lowered the resonant point. The SWR is now perfect. So I've got the computer connected to the Icon 705 using a Wi-Fi, and I'm just going to get a contact on FT8. I've just checked that I am putting about 5 watts out, but I want to just make a contact on FT8 with the end fed, and then I'm going to switch over and run 30 minutes of whisper, and then switch over to the Tarheel and run 30 minutes of whisper again. And I've got 4G here, so I can check if I'm being heard as well after a few minutes. The clock is now in sync. I've used the Dimension 4 app. I used the 4G connected hotspot to the computer, and then just ran that, so I'm all up to date. Last time I was updated was about 4 months ago, so that's all up to date. And then hopefully we'll get a contact. If we get a contact, then I'll know that everything's working hunky-dory. I've not made any contacts on FT8, and I keep making a mistake with FT8 and thinking that FT8 is a low power mode, and it's not. So I was running off the battery on the radio, and that is just 5 watts. I'm going to push the power right up to 10 watts. However, if there's a lot of strong signals out on FT8, I'm not going to get through. So I'll probably be better off going on to whisper anyway and just getting things working on there. We'll get this power on. Oh, that's just introduced more noise. Hang on. Oh yeah, I can hear it from here. So putting that power supply on has lifted the noise levels. Ugh. And then let me pull this power out. That's with the power out. Oh, I've got the big battery in the back of the vehicle. I might bring that out, just run that, and not use the mains in here, because the mains must be as nasty as anything. So yeah, well, I'll get the big battery in. Right, that's much better. Power's in, it's been charged up. I can actually now move that up to 10 watts. And we'll give FT8 another quick go on 10 watts. And then if not, I'll switch to Whisper, which is a low power mode. Well, it's a weak signal mode, not necessarily low power. Right, okay, so that's good. And we'll put Whisper on, and then I'm going to send out some beacons for half an hour. I've turned the rate, the percentage in which my Whisper beacons go out, because I want to try and get a few in over half an hour rather than just letting it run for like 12 hours or so. So I'll probably send out maybe about 4 or 6 beacons, and then I'll do the same on the other antenna. The results are in for the Whisper, so cheers. Let's put that behind there. So basically I ran Whisper on the end fed from 1610 UTC to 1640 UTC, and then I switched over and then I ran the Tarheel from 1642 to 1712, and then I've gone to the Whisper Live, one of the Whisper websites with a database, and I've downloaded the data and I've imported that data into Google Sheets. It's like an online Excel thing. So I put the data in that, I've created a chart. Okay, 1710 to 1740, between there and there was the end fed, and then from there to there was the Tarheel. So I mean, I can pretty much say that the end fed compared to my Tarheel is much better for transmission and receive, because you can even see the receive as well. What we can tell from this, just from the chart, is that the end fed can, on 40 meters, it can get about an extra 200 miles of distance compared to the Tarheel. We can, by looking on different Whisper websites, get an idea of the different patterns of where stations were that heard me. So I think it's time for some food. I had some spring onion left over, because not many people in the house like spring onion, so I'm going to fry those down with some tomatoes in chili powder, paprika and cumin. Get that sizzling away, and garlic, and put garlic in as well. Create like a nice base, a nice paste. Then into that I'm going to fry some lamb mince. Get all that mixed in quite nicely. Then I'm going to be adding towards the end, some salt goes in there as well for seasoning, but coriander and parsley. And then on top of that, at the end, I'm going to chuck on a couple of eggs. Right. So this is paprika, chili and cumin seeds with the spring onion and garlic in there. Right, so I've got the lamb in there now. I'm putting this on quite a high heat because I want underneath to catch a little bit, to give a bit of life to it, and then I'll drop the heat, let it cook through a bit more, let all the tomatoes cook in, and then we can do the parsley and the coriander and then the egg on top, and then I need to get these on the go soon as well. Right then, tea's nearly cooked. I'm sure tea will be nice, however you pronounce it. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.